Welcome to the Expert Talks by Kalkine TV. I'm Sage. Today's guest is Bruce Dell, CEO of Axiom Holographics. Based in Brisbane, Queensland, Axiom Holographics is a world leader in holographic production. The global holographic display market size was valued at $1.13 billion in 2020, and this is projected to reach $11.65 billion by 2030. So here to tell us more about this fascinating space, we have Bruce Dell, the CEO of Axiom Holographics. So welcome to the show, Bruce.
Thank you, Sage.
So glad to have you with us, and look at your background. I mean, already you're blowing us away and you haven't even said much more than hello. So Axiom Holographics is a quiet achiever based in Brisbane, a world leader in holographic production. Can you elaborate on how holograms and virtual reality can be integrated into business, please?
Sure. So first of all, we make a big cut between holograms and virtual reality. So this is something a lot of people don't understand the difference. So virtual reality is where you put screens over your eyes. And holograms is where you actually use lasers to project everything in the air. Now you still do need glasses, but they're actually made of glass, so you see through them, just like the glasses you would use at the 3D movies. But holograms are, I suppose, a little bit different to what people are used to, as in, if I go to a 3D movie, say I watch The Lion King in 3D, I can't hop up from my seat, walk down to an elephant that came off a screen and walk around him and see him from all sides. But with holograms, you can do that. So holograms are a new technology that actually projects things in the air. People can walk around it, see it from all sides. They put their hand straight through it. You can see those people that got bitten by a dinosaur on the screen there. And everything just seems very solid. And it has a lot of different applications. I think when we talk about technology revolutions, we've had cars, we've had electricity, telephones, computers, TVs, and people say, what is the next big technology revolution? Well, according to the media, for the last 40 years, everyone's been telling us that holograms will eventually be here. Eventually, holograms will be in our day-to-day lives in the future. And so that's where we're up to. Hologram technology has existed for probably about 10 years now, but it's been so expensive that it's only been used by NASA and top science centers. We found a way to produce hologram technology for about 5% of the cost. So, for example, there are some universities, Monash University has a large hologram room that they got from America, and that's about $3 million. We produce similar devices, I'd say they're better, but I'm biased, for about the $150,000 mark. So this means that hologram technology now moves into universities, education, schools, architecture, and entertainment. You can see a lot of the things behind me is entertainment-based hologram technology.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Bruce. What an exciting space. So we've noticed that the transfer of information is evolving through the ages, and you took us through a timeline there. And I just can't wait to see how information will be transferred through holograms for art, science, entertainment. So thank you so much for sharing your insights. What are the other barriers preventing wider adoption, however, apart from money, of this fantastic technology?
The biggest barrier to any sort of hardware technology is content. So for example, virtual reality helmets have existed for a lot longer than people realize. So virtual reality helmets about 20 years ago tried to launch, and they went to the various games companies and they said, we have virtual reality helmets, could you make some games for them? Now the games company said, well, how many virtual reality helmets have sold? Because if there's millions of them, then we will sell millions of games. If there's 10 of them, we will sell 10 games. And the virtual reality companies would say, well, we haven't really sold that many yet, but if you make games, then maybe people will buy the virtual reality helmets and this will be able to get off the ground. And the games companies couldn't take that sort of gamble. So virtual reality sort of wandered around for 12 years lost, having no content. And then in more recent times, groups like Oculus Rift got organized enough and had enough money behind them to join up with various games producers. And so that's how we got the modern world of virtual reality. Now, for us, we would have bumped into exactly the same problem, where we'd say, we've got hologram rooms, we've got hologram tunnels, we've got all sorts of hologram devices. Please, can someone make content for these? We didn't want to go out begging, as virtual reality had tried that and not done so well in the past. So instead, we built an artificial intelligence. So this will sound very bizarre, but we're the first company in the world that produces large numbers of games, yet we do not employ a single human programmer in the games division. Not one line of code in anything you're seeing behind me was written by a human being. So we basically made this new way where the artists simply answer questions, the computer takes all that information, and in 27 seconds, it writes the program for them. And so because of that, we've produced so much content, so many games. We've got museum-based content, we've got monster escape rooms, lots of hologram arcade machines, hologram birthday party content, so much stuff. So we're producing massive amounts of content because the AI is doing all the programming.
That is amazing. Thank you, Bruce. I just watched a program about the history of the loom and how they transferred patterns onto fabric, and what you've just said kind of mirrors that in a 21st century way. That's fantastic. So, Bruce, we notice this sort of deep technology sometimes scares people. People don't understand where the developers are coming from, or in your case, how AI is making games. Can people benefit from utilising technology that they don't understand completely, in your opinion?
Look, when it comes to understanding, I've had some very strange reactions. I remember we had some cleaners here who didn't speak English. And one afternoon I said, this room, because they were saying, what is this room? What is this room? We clean it after hours. What's it for? And I said, I'll turn it on. Now, to them, this was almost like witchcraft. Oh my goodness, like turtles appeared in the air, swimming all around them, and fish and things. And we've had a lot of very, very strange reactions from people. Another time, a person came to visit. We put them into the hologram room, and we turned on a copy of our boardroom upstairs. So they were in a hologram of our boardroom. Then later on, we were having our meeting in our boardroom, and the person all of a sudden went, and we said, what's wrong? And he said, I'm sorry, for a second there, my brain got confused, and I wasn't sure if I was in the hologram or the real thing. So this is a technology that does require getting some used to. We had a hologram of me downstairs for a while in one of the rooms, and every time people went in, they went, oh, hi, oh, wait a minute, that's not you. That's the other you, the hologram you. So it is a little bit scary in ways, I think, and definitely there are questions. So for example, we are making at the moment AI-based hologram workers to be like tour guides in our hologram entertainment centers. And they'll sort of introduce themselves, talk to people, answer all of their questions. So some people do ask about, will this technology take away jobs or things like that? And that is definitely another discussion for others to be had. How does not just us, how does the world responsibly, as technology continues to take more and more jobs, as Amazon replaces shopping malls, as autonomous vehicles, where does that all go? And I think that's something that everyone together eventually needs to wake up to coming problems. And a lot of wise people need to sit down and say, do we need to restructure society in some big ways to accommodate this? So yes, hologram technology does speed up some of those problems that technology does bring along. The way I sort of justify it to myself is hologram technology was on the way. Everyone was on their way. If only we could get there. And I think everyone thought it was about 30 years away. We managed to move a lot quicker than everyone else. We managed to patent everything. I think we sort of locked down most of the hologram future, albeit just in our company. And so yeah, for us, there are a few moral decisions to be made, a few scary things to be sort of sorted out. But there's also a moral side to holograms as well. So one of the other things we do is world history is being destroyed. What I mean by that is, sometimes, I mean, we saw the tragic situation where the Taliban blew up the Buddhas in Afghanistan, or Notre Dame Cathedral burnt down. There are earthquakes sometimes that destroy historical places, and sometimes the worst offenders when it comes to destroying history is actually the archaeologists themselves. When they dig up places like the Indus Valley, they take lots of photos and go home, and the wind and the waves and the weather come and slowly start to destroy it. So the moral side, I think, to what we're doing is we're doing a lot of work in scanning in real-world places, converting that into holograms. So God forbid, these things should get damaged, but if they do, at least we have a permanent lasting record. We also can work on scanning in real-world places, and by having them in our hologram entertainment centers, making a commercial model that returns a percentage back to the upkeep of the real-world place. So there is that moral side to it in preserving history. I think future generations will look back and be glad that we did what we did and managed to make a holographic record of things, whatever gets lost between now and then.
Exactly. And I'm seeing that people are utilising the VR technology, which is a little bit different to holographics that you outlined earlier, in helping mental health barriers be improved and things like that, maybe overcoming fears and things like that. And you mentioned that the cleaners had a bit of a almost spiritual experience when they faced the hologram. I can understand what they mean. I think it would be very exciting, and so exciting that just the lines of reality are blurred. I remember the first time I watched a 3D movie and I was stretching my hands out thinking that those objects were really real. But it stimulated me in a way that I wanted to know more. And I just the need for knowledge and the need to be part of this space for me is what actually grew out of my first contact with it. Thank you, Bruce, for sharing your passion for what you do. And I've noticed that maybe your clients are overseas. When will Australia get to experience a lot more of the work that's coming out of your showroom? And how will the increase of gaming and holographic exhibitions impact the production of Axiom Holographics, please?
Well, we've opened 2 hologram entertainment centers, and we're going to be opening quite a few more over the next 2 years. So actually we have 5 of them around the world, but 2 of them are in Australia. These are places where a family goes and they go into a hologram room, and then they can do dinosaurs or underwater or holo sports or monster escape rooms, all sorts of different things. But they go through like 10 different experiences. So say you fly with the pterodactyls, or you go underwater with the underwater dinosaurs, or you have a stampede of triceratopses come towards you. They also play hologram arcade machines. You've seen them behind me in the picture. Like normal arcade machines, except the characters are all flying around in the air with you. You can see these ladies here playing a game with crocodiles, snapping fish, and then they win prizes. Prizes fall down. What we're looking at the moment is a hologram tunnel. That's a large tunnel that you walk through with your family. This was going to come out in Brisbane Museum. It was going to be its big debut at the World Science Festival, and then the floods came and flooded the Brisbane Museum. So unfortunately, all of the people who bought tickets, quite a lot of tickets, all got their money back, and they didn't get to go through the dinosaur tunnel. At the moment, we're contacting all the other museums in Australia and making arrangements, but little bit by little bit. Australia will always be first in this sort of thing. We'll be bringing out these hologram tunnels, hologram entertainment centers, and all sorts of other interesting things.
Thank you, Bruce. I mean, projections and LED screens get close, but it's not the same as a hologram. So we'd love to see some here in Sydney soon. Vivid's coming up. Are there any plans to join or to exhibit at Vivid in the near future?
I didn't know Vivid was coming up soon. Maybe I should get on my phone and talk to Vivid.
Yes, once you jump off the call with us. So Bruce, as we wind up the discussion now, could you tell us a little bit about the future goals and the plans to build more holographic entertainment centres, please?
Sure. So I know this is a terribly arrogant thing to say. I think the world isn't fun enough. I say to myself, like, what is there really to do? I can go bowling. Time Zone and arcades and places like that are good, but they're all buying their equipment from exactly the same places. So whichever one I go to, it's always the same. If I go overseas, it's always the same. So my mission is to make the world have a lot more interesting, fun attractions than than has existed before. I think the future for us is we're producing stuff at such a high rate. We have such a wonderful team here, and we're just moving faster and faster and faster. So I think we're going to be a major exporter from Australia of hologram technology all over the world. We've already opened up our office in Europe, in Finland, if Putin doesn't attack it, but the office over in Finland, and at the moment we're planning our office over in Austin, Texas.
Oh, fantastic. Austin, Texas is a very exciting place to be in America for tech at the moment. Congratulations on that, and your expansion goals in Finland as well. Bruce, we really do appreciate your insights and your mission to make the world a more fun place. I can see it having some major benefits. Thank you so much for your insights. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much for having us, Sage.
And if you just joined us, we had a very interesting discussion. Bruce Dell is the CEO of Axiom Holographics. If you missed any part of that interview, please head to Kalkine Media's YouTube channel and keep watching for more of these excellent expert talks and market insights. Till the next episode, stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine Media.